According to two people familiar with the situation, the U.S. has notified allies that it thinks Iran has given Russia short-range ballistic missiles for use in the conflict in Ukraine. They validated the U.S. intelligence report, but they did not provide any information regarding the quantity of weapons supplied or the potential timing of the transfers. They discussed a subject that hasn't been made public while speaking in secret. The White House expressed alarm that Iran is strengthening its backing for Russia, even as it refuses to confirm the arms shipment. For months, the White House has been cautioning Iran not to give ballistic missiles to Russia. A spokesman for the National Security Council, Sin Savat, stated in a statement that any transfer of Iranian ballistic missiles to Russia would represent a dramatic escalation in Iran's support for Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine and lead to the killing of more Ukrainian civilians. This alliance highlights how Iran's destabilizing power extends beyond the Middle East and throughout the world, endangering European security. The United States' discovery coincides with the Kremlin's attempts to thwart Ukraine's unexpected attack, which has resulted in the capture of roughly 500 square miles, 1,300 kilometers, of Russia's Kursk area. Meanwhile, Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, is putting pressure on friends to permit his nation to utilize missiles supplied by the West to strike deep within Russia and target locations from where Moscow conducts airstrikes. Iran denied giving Russia weaponry for its war in Ukraine, as it has done in response to earlier conclusions from U.S. intelligence. According to a statement from Iran's mission to the UN, Iran considers the provision of military assistance to the parties engaged in the conflict, which leads to increased human casualties, destruction of infrastructure, and a distancing from ceasefire negotiations, to be inhumane. Therefore, Iran not only forgoes taking such action on its own, but it also urges other nations to stop arming the opposing parties to the conflict. CIA Director William Burns issued a warning about the developing and troubling defense relationship involving Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, claiming that it poses a threat to both Ukraine and Western allies in the Middle East. Burns was in London on Saturday for a joint appearance with his British intelligence counterpart. The intelligence findings, which demonstrate that North Korea has provided missiles and ammo to Russia for use against Ukraine, and that Iran has helped the Kremlin establish a drone manufacturing facility and supplied attack drones to Moscow, have been repeatedly declassified and made public by the White House. According to U.S. officials, China has refrained from arming the Russians, but has increased shipments of machine tools, microelectronics, and other technologies to Russia, which Moscow uses to manufacture missiles, tanks, aircraft, and other weapons. For months, the possibility of an agreement between Iran and Russia has caused anxiety at the White House. Although the Democratic administration said in January that U.S. intelligence officials had concluded that a deal between Russia and Iran had not yet been finalized, officials were worried that Russia was actively moving forward with its negotiations to purchase missiles from Iran. The United States became increasingly concerned that a deal would be reached after Iran, according to the White House, invited a senior Russian defense official in September of last year to demonstrate a variety of ballistic missile systems. In order to prevent private companies from unintentionally aiding Iran's development efforts, the U.S. and other nations have taken steps to obstruct the supply, sale, or transfer of Iran-related items and ballistic missile-related items. One such measure is the issuance of guidance to these companies regarding Iranian missile procurement practices. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is scheduled to speak with President Joe Biden at the White House on Friday. Continuing robust support to Ukraine in its defense against Russian aggression is what White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre stated will be on their agenda.